Well, hey guys, are you triggered? Looking at an article from The Atlantic, the title, The Problem with Hey Guys. I've gotten very little sleep. Yesterday my day started at 2 a.m. and I went to bed at 7 p.m. Today my day started at 2 a.m. and it is now 10:48 a.m. and I still have not napped. I turned on the computer to do some YouTubing while having my coffee. And of course, the first thing that signs up, if you're still making the dubious choice of using the Firefox platform, is your pocket reader suggestions. And some of them are just generic, like The Atlantic, which gets suggested to, I assume, everybody. Now, the problem with hey guys. How about the problem with insufferable people? This is the thing. It's based around the premise that the word is not inclusive because it has a male connotation. Now, language changes. So, guys is basically just a generic term for any group of people nowadays. And the article goes on to say as much, not really directly, but rather not as a point of focus, which I find odd. Yes. So why am I so vexed by this situation here? Because it's this insufferable nitpickiness that I've been observing become more and more pronounced. So let's read the first couple of paragraphs here. Let's dig into this nugget. Okay, guys, a female co-worker of mine recently began as she addressed me and a female colleague. Then she stopped herself, said she was making an effort to use more gender-neutral language, and carried on talking. It was a small self-correction, and a glimpse at the conflicted feelings stirred up by one of the most common greetings in the English language. Guys is an easygoing way to address a group of people, but to many, it's a symbol of exclusion. A word with an originally male meaning is frequently used to refer to people who don't consider themselves guys. Now, there is plenty of strange folk out there, and they might actually be right, that think that guy is actually a derivative of goy. So it was originally just a derogatory term for a Gentile. If that is fairly exclusionary, but I don't know if that's the exact history. This talks about Guy Fawkes as being the origin of the word guy. There should be an effigy of him, and then later on, they said, started calling any effigy guy, and then any scary male a guy, and then every man became a guy, because apparently every man is terrifying, as we are being told every single day in today's society. But the problem I have with this is the fact that it's being focused on. It's a colloquialism, and everybody says it all the time. Now, you can try to get rid of colloquialisms, for instance, saying like too often, because it's just lazy and redundant and hot air and filler, but then you run into the problem of saying all the time. So you have to work through that. So I understand the need for improving language, and I would be behind going after okay guys or the word guys, because, well, it's just kind of lazy and informal in the same way that we say dude way too much. But going at it because it makes people feel excluded is very strange. I am all for not offending people unnecessarily, but if you take offense at something that's a colloquialism, it's just a natural way that people talk, especially if you know that the people that you're speaking with are not bigoted or anything, and everybody has a pissing contest about who's more virtuous in adhering to this by even catching themselves and saying, "Oh, I'm trying to use more inclusive language." Something is deeply wrong. Something perhaps it's a little bit too much comfort at play here. I don't know, but then again, I've seen aristocratic societies in the past where aristocrats were not this prissy. So it's like a democratization of prissiness and then taken to the umpteenth level. Yeah. Also, these jobs that I'm seeing. Okay, so what I do to supplement my inheritance is I work at UPS. I work a job loading trucks. I take a box and I put it on a truck. It's very, very simple, very, very straightforward, and that's the way I think most jobs should be. And it has a direct result. Now, again, I understand the need for tertiary positions, but I feel like that the people that work in these tertiary positions are going to be the sort of people that have problem with the word guys because it's not inclusive. Examples of this would be HR. Why can't, like, I understand that they're pressed for time, but how often are you going to be hiring people? I understand in a larger company you might need an HR department, but oof. But anyway, this isn't even talking about HR. One of the people who had a problem with the term guys was Amy Chong, a 29-year-old user experience researcher in San Francisco. So UX and UI, so when you're doing web design, I suppose, or any kind of application design. So what's the user experience like? Sure, you have to have some technical knowledge, but honestly, you could pick that up at the library. And I just, yeah, I mean, what would they even do? Would they just go around and take polls and things? And in San Francisco, of all places. And then there was a guy who was an urban planner, who was 26. Is that like planning out a city to make it more efficient? I guess that's a legitimate position, but urban planner. That could just me being an idiot. I'm gonna be real honest, but user experience researcher is a lot like Falconer, in my opinion, because if you've got a team that's designing software, I'm pretty sure that the people who are doing the programming and that are doing the design, if say you have a web designer, should be fairly good at that. So why do you need to add on a person that's specifically doing that? See, to me, this is like, okay, so you're a researcher and you get a research assistant, and then you get your research assistant and assistant. Because if you've got the web developing guy, he's going to be working with the programmers. He's going to be developing, web applications. He's not going to be doing like the back end stuff. So then you would bring on a person to help him with the user experience. But I feel like that should be included in the web developer guys, girls package. See, now they've got me doing it. They've got me correcting myself, these fuckers. This means I've got to go. I've got to go and do something deplorable.